Hi, good morning, guys. This video will be the last part of your Indian business environment subject, which with this I'll be basically completing all the modules and all the topics. All the aspects have been mailed to you before, the ones which we couldn't cover in the regular hours. So I have already mailed you. I have mailed you day by day. I have sent you videos also regarding budget and other forms also. Kindly go through for your examination purpose. Now, one more aspect which was remaining, and which is we are going to have a good discussion, good thing in this video, which might take a little time today, which is we are going to talk something about physical environment in our country. And basically, we are not going to talk about how air pollution, water pollution, and all those things. We are going to talk something about how NGOs play a role in the determining the environmental cleanliness today, and also we are going to discuss something about the pollution control boards in our country. So there are basically two forms of pollution control boards drafted as per the Water Pollution and Control Act of 1974. So we're going to have a discussion on through this thing. So it might take a little time in this. This central board or central pollution on control board, central pollution control board, we call it as CPCB. So was established under as I already told you, the Water Prevention and Control Act, Pollution Act of 1974. The main objective of the coming up with this act was to clean restoring the wholesomeness of water. So basically, stop wasting water and provide the people with whom are in need of water. So that objective was there definitely, and this act will give you complete information about how does a board of this both central and state work, and what are their powers, what are their functions. But before we going to go into that, we are going to just see the objectives of it. Then we are going to go in detail. Now, what is for it? What it for? An act to provide the prevention and control of water pollution. I'm speaking about water specifically over here. An act to provide for the prevention and control of water pollution and maintaining and restoring the water. Two specific objectives under the Water Pollution and Control Act of 1974. Now, the features of this act are it provides for maintenance and restoration of all types of surface and underground water. I repeat, it provides maintenance and restoration of quality of all types of surface and underground water. It provides establishment, second feature, it provides establishment of central and state boards of pollution act. It confers, that's the second. Third one, it confers them with powers and functions to the control pollution. Fourth, it has provision for funds, budgets, accounts and audit of the central and the state's control board. It also makes provision for various penalties for the defaulters and the procedure for the same. There are 5 main objectives which we spoke. One, it provides you for the maintenance and restoration of quality underground surface water. Second, it gives you an scope to provide and start an establishment, something called as Central Pollution Control Board and State Control Pollution Board. Confesses with the powers which will be allocated to both the central and the state control pollution board. It provides you the funds, budget, accounts and auditing process will go on for the state and central boards. And also, it also penalizes the people who do not follow it, defaulters. And it penalizes, it has every right to dispose of the company for illegal usage of the water. Now, how it started, we already spoke. In which year it spoke? This thing it was we spoke in. It was started in 1974, and it commenced in first in few states such as Assam, Gujarat, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu Kashmir, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, West Bengal, and the Union Territories that time. Now we come to the main one, that is the Central Pollution Control Board. Remember, we just spoke about how important the Water Pollution Control Act of 1974 is. The aim was to provide clean and quality service of underground water and sewage. See that maintenance has been done, and also it is very important that you maintain and restore the wholesomeness of water. At the same time, prevent and control the water pollution. So for that, control board has come. Central Pollution Control Board has been framed under the Ministry of Environmental Affairs and Forest. So the Government of India, it is the main governmental organization at the central level, and for the prevention of water pollution and control. So that is for it. Now, what are its objectives? That is of Central Pollution Control Board's objectives. First, we are going to see. It advises the central government in matters related to prevention and control of water pollution. Now, always it has got the right. If you dig examples of Ganga cleanliness, River Ganga cleanliness, other forms of rivers which were dirty or which were not clean or hygiene, these boards take up that initiative and responsibility, and they inform this is the way how it can be cleaned, this is how it can be dealt with. Okay, so it advises the central government in matters with prevention and control of water pollution. What all the state pollution control boards are guided and technically assisted by these people. Every state will have their own. We'll come to that state little later. All state pollution and control boards are guided, technically assisted by these people. It organizes training programs for the prevention and control pollution at various places, conducts seminars. It also organizes comprehensive programs on pollution related issues through mass media. It collects, compiles and publishes technical and statistical data related to pollution. These when we consider our core objectives, few more are like it prepares manuals for treatment, disposal of sewage and trade effluents, lays down standards of water quality parameters. It plans national-wide programs for prevention, control and abatement of pollution. It establishes and recognizes laboratories for analysis of water, sewage or trade effluent samples. So these are your few objectives which I am going to repeat once again. The Central Pollution Control Board has every right to advise to the central government to regarding the measures to be taken to clean or to prevent the pollution and control the pollution of water. It helps the state boards to technically as well as take central boards guidance. Third, it gives various awareness camps and seminars to the state control pollutions via seminars. It organizes various comprehensive programs on the pollution related to the issues through mass media. It collects, compiles and distributes statistical data and data related to the pollution to analyze. It prepares manuals and also treatment for and disposal of sewage and effluent samples. Lays down standards of what level should be the parameter for the water content. Gives you the content of prevention. Nationwide programs it conducts for prevention and control and abatement of pollution. And also it gives you, establishes and recognizes the laboratories for analysis of water, sewage and trade effluent samples. I hope these are clear. When we talk about the functions of CPCB, that is your Central Pollution Control Board, first, as I said, it advises the central government, which needs prevention and all those things. First, it coordinates with the state government. Third, technical assistance has been given to the state boards. They help them in carrying out research, investigations, and related problems. Training programs, Central Pollution also gives programs engaged programs in prevention and control of water pollution. Organizes comprehensive programs, publication of statistical and technical data, as we have already spoken about in the objectives. So these are few functions of CPCB. Under these people work are your SPCBs, that are your State Pollution Control Board of India. State Pollution Control Board also have similar functions to be executed at the state level and are governed by the central board. The objectives of the SPCBs now are: the board advises the the state government with respect to the locations of any industry that might pollute a stream, well, or any water body. Now it becomes a responsibility of a central body to advise the state government with respect to a location where industrial pollution might damage a particular area's well, or any water related bodies. It lays down the standard for effluents and is empowered to take samples from any stream, well, or trade effluent, sewage passing through any industry. Now, the state boards, what they do is that they take down the standards of effluents, which has been marked by the central CPCBs, and they take the samples from anywhere, any which places, and they see what are the best ways to dispose those off through the industries. Second, every industry has to obtain consent from the board by applying a prescribed pro forma, providing all technical details along with the prescribed fee, following which analysis of the effluent is carried out. Now, any company who wants to open up and requests this thing, they need to take a permission from the from the state board regarding the usage of water, and how through a written prescribed pro forma, an application form, and that application form will consist of some fee, and that fee, along with that fee, you need to tell them how we are going to take care and dispose of the sewage water. That needs to be a thorough analysis has to be given to the company. The board suggests efficient method for utilization, treatment, and disposal of trade effluents. The state board not only tells you how the industry should take the pro forma and how to register it, but also they tell you the methods to use it, treat it, dispose it also. So these are your few objectives of state pollution control boards. I repeat that state pollution control boards advises the state government to measure, to take count on the respectable locations with any stream, location, well, where any water body, to take this thing. It lays down standards of effluents is important to take samples of any stream, well, a trade effluent or sewage passing through. And then the industry has to take consent from the state board in a mentioned application form, along with the fee, and also to how efficiently they dispose of their water. Also, they give you the suggestions to how do we utilize it, the water, how do we treat it and dispose also. The functions of SPCB, those are your state pollution control board. Our first one, it conducts comprehensive planning programs which have been conducted to control and prevent the water pollution, at the same time reported to the Central Pollution Control Board. Then advisory functions, what functions, what roles and responsibilities they have taken to prevent and control the water pollution. That report needs to be submitted to the CPCBs. Then dissemination of information, how do they collect the data, how do they have come to a conclusion there is this particular area, this particular location is been found under what the content of the parameter of the water is up to the level or is not up to the level. Investigation and research has to be done from all areas, industrial estates areas, local areas, districts, villages where you have set up your industries. Training programs have to be provided rigorously, continuously, so that the message goes wide and deep into the industrial people, and to also see that not to dispose the trade content in a way like to dispose the sewage in an effluent way. Then methods of disposal of sewage, as we were talking about, how do we successfully throw it out without damaging or without hampering the people. Okay, so that is one aspect. Now, coming to the powers, what do the SPCBs and the CPCBs have? The SPCB have, first we'll go to the SPCB for CPCB forms, and then we'll go to the SPCB forms. The Central Pollution Control Board is empowered by under Section 18 of the Water Pollution of 1974 to give directions to the state pollution control boards. So every guidance, every instructions can be given by the Central Pollution Control Board to the State Pollution Control Board under the Section 18 of this Environment Act of 1974. CPCBs have powers to perform any functions of SPCB in case of non-compliance of any directions given by the CPCB. If at all state government is not following the orders of the central government, CPCBs have every power to perform any functions, disciplinary, non-disciplinary functions on actions on the state boards. That's the second. The third one and the final one is the CPCB is empowered to issue directions under the Section 33A to disclose, prohibit, regulate any industry, operate or process or stop or regulate the supply of electricity, water or any other services. Nobody can question them if the industry is not following the orders which has been followed by the SPCBs and the CPCBs. CPCBs have the power to direct the closure, prohibition, stop, operate, process, prohibit, these regulate or supply water, supply of electricity it might be, supply of water it might be, or any other services. Three important powers. One, it has every rights to guide the state boards according to the Section 18 of 1974 Environmental Act. Second, the central board has powers to take any disciplinary actions on the industries if any found default. And the third one is that they have every right to stop, disclose, prohibit usage of electricity or water in case found guilty. When we talk about the State Pollution Control Board's power, first, power to obtain information. Any person can't say that will not give you information regarding our industry. The State Pollution Control Board has always the rights to obtain information whatever the State Pollution Control Board asks. Power to take samples and effluent for analysis. You can't say I'll not give you samples because our company is clean and we dispose effluently. They can't. Whenever the state pollution comes for investigation, you need to. That's the third point. Power of entry and inspection. Every rights to inspect, and you can't say I'm not ready for the inspection. Even state boards can report on to the central saying to disclose or to stop the working of this industry. Powers to impose restrictions on new outlets and new discharges. It also has that. It can restrict industry if they are not following certain rules and regulations. Power to carry out certain works. I'm not saying all the works, certain works. Power to refuse or withdraw consent of establishment of industry. Even they have under few limitations. Even these people have certain. So I repeat, power to get information, power to check the samples, power to inspect, power to impose restrictions, take actions, power to take certain works, get the certain works done, powers also to stop, withdraw any working of any industry or establishment of any industry also. So these are a few which Environmental Pollution Act, Control and Pollution Act of 1974 are. I repeat before we go to NGOs, the last part of this module. Environmental and Control Pollution Act was started in 1974 by the Ministry of Environmental Affairs. The objective was to, first one, to control the water pollution, second, to maintain and restore the wholesomeness of water. Acts provided features, something to provide with the quality and types of surveys underground water. So for second, to establish two boards, central and the state, to give them, that's the second feature. Third feature, to give them power related to that and functions. Fourth one, funds should be allocated, auditing should be done to the both central and the state. And the fifth one, penalize those who are not following the orders. Under that aspect, it was commenced early in 8 to 10 states, something like Jammu Kashmir, Gujarat, Himachal, Karnataka, Haryana, Madhya Pradesh, even Rajasthan, West Bengal, and all union territories. Based on that, they started with Central Pollution Control, Central Control Pollution Board, CPCB, Central Pollution Control Board. Aim was to restore the wholesomeness of water and also to prevent from the water pollution. And they had few objectives, and objectives included to guide the state boards, to give them the directions to the central government of the preventions. Third one, to give them seminars, to act on the awareness camps, to collect the samples for analysis, to conduct to run right through in the manuals, then to check to give them the standard of parameter of water, then plans nationwide programs, how do we conduct and dispose of the sewage water. And those were a few objectives of CPCBs which we saw. So next we saw the functions also, as good with the functions and the features. Advise central government, and then I'm not going to go much into that. State Central Board, State Pollution Control Board. The board can advise the state government to respect to any areas which is related to your particular stream or whatever it is. It lays down standard for effluents, where samples can be taken. Every industry has to seek permission. The board can suggest to them to how to utilize and dispose them. Functions we spoke, advisory functions, information, investigation, and all those things. Functions, powers we spoke, central has 3, and we also spoke on the part of the powers of CPCB and SPCB also. Now NGOs, we are going to see something like how NGOs do it. Now large number of NGOs, by the way, are non-governmental organizations where they work for non-profit zones, and they conduct for the development of the country and development of these things. They do a lot of social awareness camps for the environmental issues. So these organizations were interested to carry out the environmental issues in India. NGOs that work to save environment conduct campaigns across the country to create awareness among people about the depleting natural resources in the country. And NGOs generally work at the local level, so their resources to get information correct. So forms, they are not the supreme ruling parties in the country, but they are the ones who are working from the back and help the country to overcome these. What roles the NGOs do here is, as we already spoke, one they do is that they conduct environmental awareness programs in various districts, places, areas, and etc. Prevention of water pollution, they do that by messaging the people straight in the central. Environment protection and offering training programs to the locals, and equip them technical know-how implementation of activities and overall uplift social economic situation. So these 4 roles which NGO people play: environmental awareness programs, prevention, how do we prevent water pollution, environmental protection and offering training programs to the local body, and how to technically use them. Those are your basic things. So this is also a very important chapter from your exam point of view. Kindly go through well. I'll be sending these PPTs via in the groups and mail to few people via mail. I don't have the email IDs of everybody. Okay, so this is basically the marks, almost completes the portion for these things. All right, thank you.